Very alive.
Breaking news live. Steve came in ready to go this morning. Fired up. We have some crazy stuff that's going on in the hobby.
Well, so, like, for those of you who don't know, like, if you don't follow this as closely as, like, some of us do, Logan Paul, Jake Paul's brother, is huge in the Pokemon world. This guy gets involved in all kinds of stuff. In fact, shout out to our buddy Burbs. Burbs had him on his stream last night on Whatnot, buying stuff. Like, got him in there and he was engaging. It was really neat. And, Logan is so engaged in it and so involved. Like, when he's done stuff, he's done crazy things. He's gone out and he's bought first edition boxes, and it's been a huge following with their video channels and their reaches and everything. So Logan got a lead that this guy put on eBay, a sealed case of Series 1 Shadowless, and had it up on eBay, and it ended up closing, and Logan ended up buying it for $3.5 million. So he's been toting it around for 3 weeks, a month, showing, like, talking to people about it, showing it, and it was taken to BBCE, and it was wrapped and authenticated. So they authenticated the case, right? So that's kind of where we were at with this story. Now, you move forward, you got Pokemon Rattle started a series of videos that became this investigative reporter stuff, saying this didn't seem right, this could be an issue, this, question. And Logan came out and said, you know what? Because it was authenticated by BBCE, I never questioned it, I never thought of it. So they made the trip, went to Chicago. We were told that Saturday they were going to be meeting. Then we heard nothing. Then we were told the meeting didn't happen. Then it was like all this stuff. And then today, Logan Paul drops a 7-minute video opening the case with BBCE.
Unbelievable. When we watched it, because we just watched it this morning because it just popped this morning, and you walked right in and we looked at each other and we just said, this is not good.
And it's not. And so what happened is, Logan looks in and they're like, the boxes are good. They get excited because the boxes are actual Pokemon boxes.
I think I have a couple.
Right? And so he's like, it's good, but the plastic doesn't look real tight. It's not really synced, really, really tight.
Because he got all excited when he saw the first. And then the guy that was sitting next to him, he's like, that don't look right.
Right, because what they're worried about when they first open the box is they're opening that case and they're saying, is this actually Pokemon boxes, or is this boxes of something else, right? Because that's what you would expect to happen here. But in this case, it was actual Pokemon boxes, and they were wrapped, and they had the Series 1. Like, it looked like it could be okay. And to someone who generally isn't this Pokemon collector, they may look at these even boxes and be like, these look good. But they started pointing out that the shrink wrap, and this is Logan. Logan immediately saw it. He's touched hundreds of these, right? He grabs the box of one of the legit ones that he has and puts it next to it, and he's like, you can tell, like, the shrink wrap on this one's tight and the shrink wrap on the ones in the box are loose. So then that's when they're like, well, let's crack one open. Now, that was the thing. They were going to have to crack one of these open no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what.
That was so first off, the sealed case is what brings the full value.
Of course.
That's what you're paying for.
Because that elevated the price of these. Because you're talking $150K to $200K. And if it comes from Logan Paul's collection, it's probably $200K a box, right? That's not $3.5 million. What's $3.5 million is the sealed booster case.
Correct. Because is there any out there?
This is the understanding that this was the only one that existed. And even Gary, Pokemon King Gary, he had a half sealed case.
Okay.
So he doesn't even have a full sealed case. Like, literally,
this
is like the Grail in Pokemon. Like, this was the big find. This was the unearthing. This was the ET cartridges. This was it, right? Yeah. And that's why this was such a big deal. And then they open it, and what do they find?
G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe packs, which, as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, They feel the same, like in width.
They
They
the people
probably
that made this,
Oh, they weighed them for
they
sure.
weighed them to make sure which packs were going to be very similar to what they had already. Like, when do you think they created this box?
Well, you brought up a good point earlier when you said, it had to have been a while because it looked fairly aged. Now, one of the things that I brought up, and this is something that I've found, is that you can black light your tape seals on cases.
Okay.
And there's indicators in things that you can find. And a box that's been sealed for 20 or more years should have some type of natural bubbling that should happen throughout it, that even if to the naked eye you don't see, the black light will actually show. Okay. Right? That should be fairly consistent. There's ways to weather stuff. Guys have gotten really good at it, putting them in heat environments, especially if you don't care about the product inside, right?
Yeah.
You heat it up. You do these things to age it quicker.
You age it, you throw it in a little, you mess it with
slide
it,
it around.
slide it
Yeah.
And then you put it on a shelf for 3 years.
Yeah.
And know you're going to sell this case in the future.
Right. And so, the thing is that this is a case that exchanged hands a couple of times. Mm. There is a track back to where it came from. Mm-hmm. Right? So that information's kind of there. So, you think well, who's in the biggest trouble? And you think, well, this guy's in the biggest trouble, right? And it could possibly be. And here's the thing. If he sold that from the United States to the guy in Canada, and then the guy in Canada sold it to Logan Paul in the United States, it just became international fraud. It's no longer federal.
So the FBI will be
It's
investigated.
FBI, Interpol. You're talking about all these agencies are getting involved. This is a $3.5 million deal. This is a
scam.
This is a huge thing, and I guarantee you there are phones that are ringing right now to people who did not want to answer them today.
So if you worked at BCBE today, would today be a good day to put in your notice?
Absolutely. And the reason being, guys, is because
what that's going to be with them.
Well, and here's my question: who's going to be the authenticator to take the fall? Right?
Somebody.
It's going to happen.
Fall, right?
It's going to happen because right now, and this is personal story time, right? Personal story time. I authenticated a Funko Pop that there's question on whether it could be legit or not, and I said that I thought it was fake. Mm-hmm. But the whole point for me was to authenticate it in the facet that I have to be 100% sure, and I couldn't get answers on certain things, and there were too many red flags for me to be able to say this is 100% legit.
Right, but that brings into every COA.
Right.
Nobody knows for sure with the COA if that is actually that exact signature.
Right.
For us in autographs, like when we did, like this Pulisic jersey I have sitting right here, it's Beckett authenticated.
Yeah.
Do I know for sure that Christian Pulisic signed that jersey? Absolutely not. Did they authenticate it? Did Beckett watch it? Yes, but how do I know somebody didn't peel that sticker off, put it on another jersey that they signed? There's unless you're with that item for the whole time that item's in existence, you don't know that it's real.
Well, and here becomes the question, right? So now here becomes the authenticating question. The authenticating question starts to fall into play on these. One of the questions that arises, one of the things that happen on this, and you think about it, let's go back to the biggest story that unearthed prior. And had social media been as vibrant as it is to now, do you think PSA would have survived the T206?
No.
There's no way.
No way.
But because
they definitely wouldn't be the premier that they are now.
The only way they were able to survive that is they were able to have months of contingency plan, right? Months of a plan to be able to put together how they were going to combat this by the time the E60 story fell.
And that's the thing,
this is months after it happened.
Right. And you do this for a living. They, Pawn Stars, they have you come in and you authenticate stuff. But they tell you, if you're not 100% sure, you can't say, yes, this is real.
It was purely simple. When I first came in and I talked to them,
I
was told by Rick, I absolutely can't buy things I can't sell, and I absolutely need to make sure that things are 100% legit. And if there's doubt, I need to know why, and I need to know how. And the way I look at it is, and to me, and this was Logan Paul's money, but when I get brought in on stuff, I'm brought in from a standpoint of saying, I need to be without a shadow of a doubt 100% sure that this is legit, because it's happened. There are things, and when I actually got involved with the show, there was like a wholesale change across the board where they changed a bunch of experts,
Right.
and it was because there were some things that were brought into question.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be that guy that authenticates something that gets brought into question.
Right.
So I'm going to be more leery,
Yeah.
and so that's why I even told the seller on the Funko Pop, hey, look, if it is legit, or we can afterwards find out more information, can we find the guy who actually painted these things? Can he indicate that he missed and skipped some corners on some stuff? Can we get him to do these things and to show that this is what it's supposed to be?
No, and I think you're 100% right. And I think going into the future, this brings into question everything. BCBE was the number one company.
Yeah.
They have all the Flair Michael Jordan boxes. They have all the cases. They have done it all. You go to Nationals, they got the biggest freaking booth. It's all set up. Everything's wrapped. It looks nice. You're like, when you buy that, you always assumed it was legit.
Always.
You always assumed it was legit.
And you think about it, like the product that is wrapped by them. And there's this stuff that we all like, the everyday stuff, the 86 Fleer, the 84 Topps football, right? The Elway Marino year, right? You got 81 Topps football. What else do we got? We've got 93 SP, right?
2003 Upper Deck SP.
2000 Topps Chrome football, Bowman Chrome football.
100%.
Right.
Tom
This
Brady,
stuff.
Bowman
Right.
Chrome stuff. It's
This
all
stuff,
sealed. People have it. It's by BCBE. But how, as buyers, are we going to know that that is real?
Yeah. And, it's going to bring a lot of question into this stuff, and it's going to be some things. And I jokingly said earlier, we should call BBCE and just check on them. Make sure they're okay today. Because
I feel terrible.
Because I guarantee you that phone is ringing off the hook.
Yeah.
People who have products sitting in their building are like, get my product out tomorrow.
Yeah.
I want it back. And the people that don't have stuff that they spent thousands upon thousands of dollars authenticating are now sitting there looking in their closet and going, I'm going to have to open this.
Thinking you're holding on because
so now the only way you're going to be able to sell this stuff now, the only way this stuff's going to sell, I'm telling you, every Panini shrink wrapped box that you've kept sealed forever, the only way you're going to be able to sell these older stuff moving forward with this is you're going to have to cut the tape, you're going to have to show it, and the buyer market is going to become open box, verify packs, sealed, and then authenticated. And authenticated like that is now going to be a company like Collectors Archive Services who grades boxes, who puts them in acrylic. It's completely sealed. It's labeled. You break the case. It's not good, just like with your sport cards, right? And that's how this stuff is going to have to happen. And what's funny is I was on their podcast about a month ago, and I talked specifically about grading of boxes and where the grading of boxes was going to go to.
So Golden brings up a point. He says, what do you think now would be sealed prices valued? Are they desired or?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, anything that is wrapped by BCBE, anything that's wrapped by them, right? Anything, 30% immediately off the top. That's just the immediate damage number that I come up with.
Yeah.
The banker thinks it's 50%. The banker's pretty tied into some of the crazy value stuff, right? But I think from my standpoint, 30% is going to be, that's the, I'm now timid. I guarantee you, and we're going to talk about this, I'm here early, but I guarantee you Monday, in the investment portion, is going to be, you're going to have to hold on to your wrap stuff until the dust settles to figure out where it's at. Selling it now is not good. Like, we have a box in the store of Flair Wrestling, and one of the first calls that need to be made today is, the customer has that box, hey, you're going to have to come down and you're going to have to set it back in your closet for a little while because we can't be attached to that.
But no, and I think you brought up the great point. I think the sealed case market is dead. There's going to be no more sealed case.
No.
The case has to be opened.
Has to be.
Identified, verified,
Yeah.
then resealed and put in acrylic.
Yeah.
This is now.
Yeah.
And where you know for sure that, yes, the seal, it wasn't sealed anymore, but now it's verified that it was a sealed case.
Yeah.
And it was put back as a sealed case.
Well, and we have a plan. So one of the videos that should be coming our way here is that I've got to go verify some 88 basketball starting lineup cases because one of them was sold by the seller and then brought into question and returned.
Okay.
Right? And we have before and after pictures. I was involved with this before it went out. So we have before and after pictures, and I actually have to go take a look at it and see if the buyer tampered with it or what happened. And for you guys that, you don't know, this 88 case is Bulls. Yeah. It's got 8 Jordans in it, or 7 Jordans in it, right? So those Jordans, they grade, CAS, 90s. You're talking those are, $6,000 a piece. Yeah. If you know what I mean, like this case is $3,500 as it sits raw, right? Like, so when you start talking about this stuff and you start looking at these things and everything, like it's not just across the world of sports. Like this just reopened the world of a ton of stuff, right? And I come from a world in toys where resealing and stuff like that is a common practice, and you got to be able to view it and look for it, and everything. And I know in sports cards. It is too. But now you're going to have, if you want to sell your box of 86 Fleer basketball, it's going to have to be probably video, and it's going to have to be, here's the pack, here's the back. Here's the pack, here's the back. That's literally how you're going to have to sell that.
And like the thing is, selling it on eBay is done. Like me personally as a buyer, I'm never buying a sealed case on eBay ever again.
And even sealed boxes are going to be tough for you to want to buy, but anything, and that you're going to have to be shown that, and you're going to have to see it, and you're going to have to have that information. And I feel horrible for Logan Paul. Don't get me wrong, guys. We all sit there and we go, $3.5 million to Logan Paul is nothing. No, $3.5 million to Logan Paul is a big number. I don't care who you are. That's a big amount of money.
The amount of money he's going to make on the videos and the stuff that's going to come along with it is going to offset probably most of it.
Yeah, but that box didn't do that for him. Yeah. He did the work to become the level he was for that box to have value to his streams and his content. 100%. So that's his work. So I don't know that I can sit here and say he deserves less because of that. But the guy in the middle is the guy that I think is there's the biggest problem for, because the guy in the middle is the guy that's going to have to pull the trigger on everything. He's going to have to be the guy to move forward, and then what's going to be brought into question with him, and he seems to have quite a bit of high-end stuff, was he involved with this? Does he have knowledge? Like, all the questions start to arise, because you can't just sit there and say, you bought it and unlucky you, and you bought it unlucky you. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be 100 streams out there, and 99 of them are going to say, unlucky him, unlucky him, unlucky him, because as consumers, we just look at the exterior of the project, but we never actually look at how it's going to be investigated and how it's going to be looked at, and that guy's life just got a lot harder for a long time.
No, and just as a shop owner here, like, I got a card in, it was not graded. I personally bought the card off a guy that came in here. It was raw. I wanted to send it off to get it graded. The very next day, a guy comes in looking for that exact card.
Yep.
I tell him, I have one. It's raw on the back. I go back and grade it, bring it out. He looks at it. He's like, oh, okay, I want to buy it. I go, well, it's not graded. He's like, oh, I'll send it off and we'll get it graded. We come to an agreement. 2.5 weeks later, he comes back in. The card's altered. Me personally, guess what? I didn't know it was altered.
Yeah.
I bought it thinking that it was real, and it still could be real. Altered doesn't mean it's a fake. Altered means it's either squished down, trimmed. There's different.
That's aspects. What happened to the Wagner, right?
Yeah.
The T206 was trimmed.
100%. Right. And you don't know, especially us dealing with it in the shop, looking at it in naked eye. We're not authenticators, and so I gave him his money back. And guess what? Now I have this card. I sent off again to a different grading service, and it comes back graded. So it just shows you, like, Golden brought up the point. How do we guarantee that these graders even know what the hell they're doing?
Yeah.
Like,
and that's the question. And when you have a mass hiring from some of these companies, this is now we're getting into the slab side of things, right? Because I it becomes part of the conversation. It becomes part of the discussion. And it is, now you've got all these companies. You have companies that came up that are verifying cards. You've got companies that have, added thousands of graders, not hundreds, thousands, to their stable to be able to get this stuff done. You start to have to question some of that stuff. And I mean, in fairness, like, look, with what I do today, this brings what I do into question. 100% does. Yeah. And I understand it and I get it that this happens and these things are in the industry and there's going to be a fix. This is where you see that ripple effect. Things go and it falls. So you're going to have a market fall. There's going to be a plummel here. There's going to be a lot. There's going to be.
You're a buyer.
You're about to have a dump off. And I'm going to tell you guys, if you can, and you can research when that stuff was graded, if you get it graded, you get it wrapped close to the year it was released, you should be okay. Mm-hmm. That's how I would look at it. So if it's 93 basketball, right? If it's at 93 SP basketball and it was graded in 93 or wrapped in 93 or 94 and that hits the market and you can verify it, go grab it. It's probably good.
Yeah.
But the stuff that's not going to be is going to be the stuff that was wrapped 2 years ago from 93 or whatever. That's where the question is going to come into play. That's where this stuff is going to happen. This is it's a rough day for the Pokemon industry. This is a incredibly rough day for the Pokemon industry. I will tell you what it did do, though. You know what the value of those individual boxes that people are sitting on just did?
100%.
I will bet you, I'm going to call it now, 6 months, those boxes are worth twice as much as what they were worth today before the day started.
Yeah.
If you trend it in 6 months, those boxes are worth twice as much because that means there's that many less out there on the market still available.
Correct.
Right? We just thought there was a case full, and it's not there anymore.
So, this is it's a fun topic. For us, that's all in the industry. It's going to be a topic of discussion for the month, week.
Yeah.
It'll probably drag on till nationals.
It's going to nationals for sure. And in fact, I would guarantee you there will be a keynote at nationals talking about this.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
So, this for us as the industry is it's eye-opening. Hopefully something good comes out of this, which I think it always does. And the way the market is and how much money is being invested and what people are doing, I think there's an opportunity for these other companies to jump in and say, listen, this is how we're going to do it. We're guaranteeing it. Here's our money back guarantee on it.
Right.
This is how we're moving forward.
And that's going to be the thing. The first one that puts their money where their mouth is and says, we will guarantee your slab, we will guarantee your product, and puts their money where their mouth is and has a COBRA policy for $1 billion sitting behind it, is going to be the one that's going to make it. And I'm telling you right now, one of the first calls I'm making when we get done with this is I'm calling CAS and I'm going to tell them, you guys need to go out and put your money where your mouth is.
You have an opportunity.
This is how you guys want to build your business. Here you go. Because I believe in those guys. Yeah. I'm just telling you that from personal experience. Like, I know those guys. I know how they work. And
I love their product. I love the whole product that they do. Yeah. Encapsulating everything, making it look unique, and it's great.
They do it for sports card packs. They do it for boxes. You can. One of the coolest things that I saw them do is they did a complete set of OS1 Garbage Pail Kid wax packs. Every single one slabbed all in one slab together. They
do some neat stuff with it.
Yeah,
this is a prime. You're talking about them. Prime opportunity for them to get out in front of this and say, listen, if you have these boxes from BCBE, we're going to give you 20% off. We're going to grade it. We're going to grade it for you. We're going to authenticate it for you, and we're going to guarantee it. If we guarantee this product is real, if you go to sell it and it comes back as a fake, we will replace it 100%.
Yeah. And the way of doing this too, guys, is then you've got serial numbers. They're attached. The only way you can get to the serial numbers is breaking the acrylic. There's no seams to be able to get in, and we've seen guys try to tear apart these cases. They break. They do.
You'll know if somebody's trying to tamper through it.
When they start to mess with them, the corners yellow, all this stuff. There's all these things. So guys, if you're buying, be smart. If you're selling, don't expect a lot. I I guarantee you this. I'm putting my foot down for the shop. This is just me putting it down. We will not purchase another BCBE item that walks in here wrapped as it is. If we purchase that item from you, you're taking the wrap off of it. And it's being verified by us, and we are going to be 100% confident that it is what it is, or otherwise the shop's not taking it. There's no reason to risk it. There's too many reasons for us not to have that, and honestly, we don't want any of the fallback that's going to happen, because I guarantee you there are shops out there today that are flipping out.
Yeah.
You know some of those guys in the industry.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Right?
And
that's time to do some welfare checks is what it is.
Yeah, there's some guys that invested millions of dollars and that are sitting there today thinking this was their retirement fund, this is their stuff that they were banking on, and now they're like, oh shit, I just took 50% less.
This is like the stock market. This is a stock market crash today.
Yeah,
this is a
time.
crash.
All right, fellas. Well, you got to hear from us. We just wanted to get a quick video out to you guys,
for
so
sure.
you guys kind of knew our take on it. Steve's obviously the expert in this world, and he knows more than 99% of the people out there in this world. So we wanted to get it out there to you guys, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the little segment we threw up for you.
What we got up in the breaks group, we've got, did you fill that Zenith?
Zenith is full. We got Mosaic. Just
this
dropped
stuff right
actually.
here.
Yep. Mosaic just dropped 5 minutes ago.
Dude, so this has Storm Chasers and Glass Mosaic in it.
Yeah.
And it's looking like those Glass Mosaics are not case hits. They're looking like they're over multiple case hits.
Oh.
And that the Storm Chasers
be
would be the
way
case
more.
hit. Yeah. So there's a quick piece of investment advice. I saw a couple of guys. I saw one of them go up in a marketplace. Fairly inexpensive. It might be something to grab. I'm just going to throw that up there.
All right, boys and girls, we'll see you guys back here. We're going to break Zenith later on this afternoon. And like I said, Mosaic's posted, Super Draft Jumbo.
And I'll be on Whatnot tonight.
Steve will be on what night tonight?
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
Let's
Get
go
it.
monster hunting.